Henderson thing.
Yeah.
It's gotten...
It's gotten pretty messy, hasn't it?
It has. We've got conflicting reports, denials.
Yeah.
It's really enough to make your head spin.
Absolutely.
We're going to try to figure out what actually went down.
Yeah.
Did he almost leave Ajax for Monaco?
Mm.
What is the truth behind all this stuff about lies and untruths he keeps talking about?
Well, I think to really understand how intensely he reacted,
Right.
we need to rewind a bit and go back to that press conference after the Feyenoord game.
Okay, so right after the game.
Yeah, right after Ajax beat Feyenoord.
Got it. So emotions are running high.
Yeah, everyone wants a piece of Henderson.
Of course.
And then this reporter just hits him with this question, point blank.
Oh, boy.
The coach has just told us you wanted to go to Monaco because you had a big offer.
Whoa, talk about a direct shot.
Right.
I bet you can still feel the tension in the room just listening back to it.
Absolutely. And Henderson doesn't hold back at all.
Oh, I bet.
He says, the coach has told you I wanted to go to Monaco because I had a big offer. That's not true.
Wow. Okay, that's a pretty strong denial.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The coach did actually confirm that there were talks
Yeah.
about a potential transfer.
Right.
So doesn't that kind of suggest that they were at least open to letting him go?
It definitely does.
Mm.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because while Henderson may not have actually wanted to leave himself,
Right.
it seems like Ajax was at least considering it.
Yeah, you got to wonder what was going on in his head at that point.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, luckily for us, he did this whole interview with ESPN.
Right.
Where he gives his side of things.
Yeah. And that's where we start to get a much better look at this whole financial picture at Ajax.
Okay, so it's not just about winning on the pitch then.
No, not at all.
These clubs are businesses,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to make some tough decisions to stay afloat.
Henderson actually revealed that Ajax needed to free up some funds.
Okay.
And that letting go of some of the higher earners, like him, was one way to potentially do that.
So even though he's the captain, even though he's a star player,
Right.
he wasn't immune to those financial pressures.
Not at all.
Wow.
And he confirms there were some tough conversations.
Right.
But ultimately, he and the club agreed that he should stay.
Okay. But that's not the end of the story, is it?
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
This is where Henderson really starts to talk about how the media handled everything.
Yeah.
And he's not happy.
Okay.
It's clear that he felt very betrayed by the coverage.
Yeah.
He accused them of spreading lies, untruths,
Wow.
making it personal,
Right.
and causing a lot of pain for both him and his family.
He even questions the professionalism
Yeah.
of anyone who doubted his commitment after he played in that game, despite all the rumors.
Right.
It's almost like he's saying, I'm out there giving my all, and you're questioning my loyalty.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating look into the pressure and scrutiny that these players face.
Absolutely, and that brings us to, I think, like the heart of the issue.
Yeah.
Was this just a misunderstanding that just got completely blown out of proportion? Or is there something bigger going on here? Like a
Yeah.
power struggle between the players, the clubs, the media?
Right.
What do you think?
Well, to answer that, I think we need to take a closer look at the possible motivations.
Okay.
Why would the club leak this info in the first place?
Right.
You know, was it strategic? Was it...
Was it all part of the plan?
Yeah.
There's got to be more to this story.
Right.
That's why we deep dive.
That's why we're here.
So stay tuned, because
Yeah.
next we're going to unpack those possible motives.
Yeah.
And really start to see how these power dynamics actually play out.
Exactly. So we just heard how frustrated Henderson was.
Right.
You know, feeling betrayed by the media.
Right.
Maybe even by his own club.
Yeah.
But I think we got to turn our attention to Ajax for a second.
Okay.
Why would they even think about selling their captain,
Yeah.
especially mid-season?
Especially since Henderson himself said he didn't even want to leave.
Right. It's not like he was pushing for a move or anything.
Yeah.
I think we need to look closer at this financial situation at Ajax.
Okay.
Henderson mentioned it, but there's more to the story.
Oh, really?
They weren't just like feeling a little pinch. They were facing a pretty big financial shortfall.
Wow.
And this wasn't because of bad results on the field.
Oh.
It was because of some risky investments they made off the pitch that hadn't really worked out.
So they were looking to sell off some players.
Yeah.
Some high-value players.
Right, to make up for those bad investments.
To try to balance the books.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if that leak to the media
Right.
about the Monaco offer,
Yeah.
was that a calculated move by the club?
Oh, interesting.
It's certainly possible.
But-
Clubs use the media all the time
Yeah.
in these situations.
Because their advantage.
Right? They might leak a story to see who's interested,
Yeah.
attract some buyers.
Yeah.
Maybe even drive up the price.
So it's almost like
Yeah.
a chess game.
Mm.
And players like Henderson,
Right.
They're kind of caught in the middle.
Yeah.
Like they're pawns.
Yeah, they get used to try and improve the club's financial standing.
Yeah. And I guess in this case, Henderson felt like he was being treated like
Yeah.
an asset
Like a commodity.
more than the captain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he was clearly really hurt
Right.
by the whole thing.
It's understandable, though, right?
Totally.
The media frenzy, all the
Yeah.
speculation,
Yeah.
the uncertainty.
Right. It takes a toll
Yeah.
on anyone.
And remember, this is real people.
Yeah.
We're talking about real consequences.
Absolutely. And it's not just the player who is affected either.
Right.
Henderson actually mentioned
Yeah.
his family being dragged into this whole mess
Oh, yeah.
because of all the media coverage.
Because the media, yeah.
It just shows you how these stories have this ripple effect.
It really does.
It raises some important questions
Yeah.
about the media's role in all this. They have a responsibility
Yeah.
to report accurately.
Of course.
But sometimes that pursuit of a really sensational story
Yeah.
can overshadow that.
It can get in the way.
Yeah, finding the right balance is tough.
Yeah. It's like working a tightrope.
Hmm.
You want to break the news, but you also have to think about
Right.
the people involved.
Absolutely.
And Henderson clearly felt like the media crossed the line.
Yeah.
He felt like they misrepresented what happened.
Yeah. Created a story that wasn't true.
Yeah, and remember, he even questioned the professionalism
Yeah.
of people who doubted his commitment.
Right after he played in that game.
It's like he's saying, look, I'm out there, I'm giving my all,
Right.
despite all this media craziness.
Yeah, how can you question my dedication?
Right.
Yeah, it's a valid point.
Yeah.
But it also makes us think,
Okay.
should we judge a player's commitment based on whether they play or not?
Right, during transfer negotiations.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, if a player really wants to stay, shouldn't they play no matter what?
Right.
But then again, put yourself in Henderson's shoes.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of all these intense talks. You
Yeah.
don't know what your future holds.
Yeah, the media's all over you.
Yeah.
It's got to be distracting.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's got to be hard to play your best when all that's going on.
And we can't forget,
Right.
Henderson says he was committed to Ajax
Yeah.
all along,
Right.
even though they were willing to listen to offers.
It's messy.
It's a really messy situation.
There's no easy answers.
No, but I think it shows the power dynamics at play.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the clubs,
Yeah.
they're trying to protect their finances.
Right.
You've got the players,
Yeah.
they're trying to figure out their careers.
Yeah.
And you've got the media,
Right.
they just want the scoop.
They want the story.
It's a constant push and pull.
Yeah. And then in the middle of all this,
Right.
you have the fans.
You got the fans,
They're the ones investing their time and energy
their emotion.
and their money
Yeah.
into these teams,
Right.
into these players.
And they deserve some clarity.
They deserve to know what's going on.
Absolutely. Fans are a huge part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And we got to think about them too.
Yeah.
As we try to unpack this.
Yeah. Speaking of perspective,
Yeah.
I think it's time we shift gears a bit.
Okay.
How can fans even make sense of these situations
Right.
when you've got all this conflicting info?
Yeah. And everybody seems to have their own agenda.
Exactly.
That's a great question.
Yeah, because in the end,
Yeah.
it comes down to you.
It does
Yeah.
decide what to believe
Yeah.
and how to make sense of it all.
We're giving you the pieces,
Right.
but it's up to you
It's up to you to put them together.
and decide what you think.
So stay with us.
Because next we're going to explore.
We're going to explore how to do just that.
It feels like what we've been talking about with Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
It's like we're seeing a small version
Correct.
of this much bigger thing in pro sports.
It really does. You see those clashes. You see the power struggles.
Yeah.
You see that media pressure everywhere.
It makes you wonder if anyone really wins in these situations.
That's a good question.
Like, who comes out on top?
Well, I mean, on the surface, you might say the club wins if they get a huge transfer fee.
Right.
Or maybe the media wins when they get the big story everyone's talking about.
But is that really winning, though?
Right.
We heard what Henderson said
Yeah.
about how much this hurt him and his family.
It's easy to forget that players are people.
Yeah.
They're not just assets.
Exactly. And what about the fans?
Where do they fit in?
Do they win when their favorite player is treated like he's just a piece of merchandise? Or when they can't even trust what they're hearing?
Right, from the club, from the media.
Because everyone's got a different story.
It's a tough one.
This whole thing just makes it clear
Yeah.
that we need more transparency,
Yeah.
more accountability from everybody involved.
I completely agree. Fans deserve to know what's going on.
Yeah.
They deserve clear communication.
Yeah, from the clubs, from the players.
Right. And the media needs to remember that they have to be accurate. They have to be ethical.
Even with more transparency,
Yeah.
I feel like there's always going to be some tension
Oh, for sure.
between all the different people involved.
They all have different goals.
Right. They all want different things.
Clubs are businesses at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They got to make tough choices.
Right. To stay on top.
Players are building their careers.
Right. Trying to get the best opportunities.
And the media, well,
Yeah.
they love the drama.
They got to get the scoop.
It's a constant balancing act.
Trying to make it all work.
Yeah, but I think if we want to figure this out,
Yeah.
open communication is key.
Yeah.
Mutual respect is huge.
Respect for sure.
When everyone listens to each other,
Right.
when everyone tries to find some common ground,
Yeah.
that's when things start to change.
So where does that leave us?
Right.
And more importantly, where does that leave you
Yeah.
listening to all of this?
We've given you the facts.
Yeah. We've explored the different sides.
We've asked the tough questions.
Now it's your turn
Yeah.
to connect the dots.
You got to think critically.
Absolutely. Don't just believe everything you hear.
Right.
Don't just accept everything you read.
Question everything.
Dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
Think about things from different angles.
And don't be afraid to make up your own mind.
Yeah, you don't have to agree with everything we said.
Right.
Talk about it.
Have those conversations.
Keep learning.
Keep growing.
That's what makes these deep dives so interesting.
There's always more to discover.
And more perspectives.
More questions to ask.
Until next time.
Keep exploring. Keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.